Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and demo of the new Juvia's Place foundation. So that is the I Am Magic foundation, the I Am Magic concealer, and the I Am Magic setting powder. Now, just to start off, before anybody has anything to say, I ordered this and it was in transit when all the Juvia's Place drama started. So don't attack me or have a go at me and do you still support them, do you not? I'm just going to say one thing. Now, I don't know the whole ins and outs of everything. It's obviously just stuff that I've come across. People saying Juvia's Place is cancelled, da-da-da-da-da. Now, one thing that brands need to understand is that when you are a brand owner, it's very important for you to keep all your personal, your political, and any other opinions to yourself because you are representing your brand. If you are representing yourself as an individual, by all means say what you want. But when you are representing yourself as a brand, like Juvia's Place is, then, you know, you need to just not talk. Now, I ordered all of mine direct from Juvia's Place because Beauty Bay in the UK, which is the only stockist, for some reason has not stocked them yet. And I was getting a little bit impatient, and quite a few of you were asking me to do a review, which I did want to do, but, you know, it's not like it's easy to get a hold of. So I used MyMallBox, which I haven't used in a while, which is a shipping forwarding company. I will link the info details in the bar below. And I had it shipped over to myself in the UK. Now, Juvia's Place has released their Complexion range for the first time. Altogether, they have got 42 shades of foundation, which is excellent. And big dramas, even before all this stuff happened, was people complaining about the numbering system because they have chosen the darkest as 100 and the lightest as 740. I mean, get over yourselves, people. It's just a numbering system, like whatever. Like, people just love to get offended. Do you know what I mean? Just stop it. Anyway, so 42 shades is great. My shade that I ordered is Aruba 510. So Aruba has been described as for medium skin tones with a golden undertone, which is what I have. I am actually thinking now that Tangier, the shade Up, which is for medium skin with warm undertone, may have been a better match for me because you guys will see that this is a tiny bit dark for me. I would say that if you're an NC42 in MAC, this would suit you perfectly. I am getting tanned day by day. This, what you're seeing right now, is sweat on my face. As I'm filming this, my phone says it's 35 degrees in London today. It is so hot. If you see my background move, it's because my door is open. I'm trying to let some wind in, but my backdrop is actually stopping me getting any air to my face. So I do apologize if I start to get really shiny throughout the video. Now, this retails at $20, which is a pretty decent price, and it is 30 ml. Their packaging is quite straightforward. It's like a cardboard, and even the packaging for the foundation, it's not like expensive and luxe. It's more just very practical. I don't find that Juvia's Place kind of goes over the top when it comes to packaging. It's in a squeezy tube, which is nice and easy to use. Now, what their claims are, which I'm going to read off of the box, it says that it's radiant, long-lasting, creamy and comfortable. Our Second Skin Creamy Foundation offers a smooth application with a soft, natural and soft matte finish to give a flawless coverage. A great formula to even out the complexion, refine skin texture and erase blemishes, maintaining the initial finish throughout the day. Suitable for all skin types, including sensitive and oily skin, free from parabens, oils and cyclopentasilicas. Now, I would definitely say that this is a full coverage foundation. It's very thick. It's reminiscent of the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, which is very thick. It's probably a tiny bit less thick than that, if that makes sense. I quite find it a little bit difficult to blend out with a brush. I think using a beauty blender is a little bit good. The problem that I found by using a brush is that it was giving me streaks on my face, despite the fact that I kept buffing it out because it is that thick and creamy. So I had to go in with my beauty blender and kind of sort out the areas where I could see lines on my face. It is definitely very full coverage and it covers everything and anything on the face. I personally think it's a very good full coverage foundation. My favorite is still going to be the Juvai one, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately just because this is not going to be my favorite one. Is it something I would repurchase? possibly if it comes to the UK, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it again from the US. Our Second Skin Creamy Foundation, I wouldn't call it a second skin at all. When it comes to full coverage, your face looks abnormally flawless, and that in my books does not mean second skin. Second skin is like that no makeup kind of look. A smooth application with a soft natural and soft matte finish. Smooth application, yes, but it's still, like I said, streaky. Soft natural and soft matte finish most definitely dries down to a really nice soft matte finish. Gets rid of blemishes, textured skin. I've got textured skin. It definitely does not emphasize the texture on my face. I did not find that I had to apply more than one layer, so it's definitely a very full coverage foundation. Maintaining the initial finish throughout the day. That's a very strange way of putting it, but I would say no. How can you maintain the same look that you've got when you put it on hour 1 compared to hour 12? It's virtually impossible, unless of course you are putting powder or anything else on your face throughout the day. What I found was that this definitely stayed on my face without moving or anything like that up to at least hour 12 to 14, and I just want you guys to know that I have been testing this out in really hot weather. It's so hot in London, so I have been able to see how it works with very high humidity as well as dry heat as well in a very polluted city that I live in. I would say that it stayed on my face really nicely. I only saw some real separation around my nose, my forehead and my chin area after about hour 16, which I would say is really good. And I think it looked amazing, and I definitely think that this is the kind of foundation that a lot of you will love. It covered all my redness, it covered any hyperpigmentation, no color correcting or anything like that needed at all. It looks beautiful throughout the day, and it doesn't oxidize, which is great. So the way that you'll see that a color applied to my face is the way that it will stay all day. Like I've already said to you guys, this is a little bit dark for me, but then when I apply it with the concealer and then with the powder as well, it tends to kind of change the color slightly to make it match my skin tone perfectly. The kind of brush that I tend to like to use with this, if you do like to use a brush, is something like the Morphe M439 Deluxe Buffing Brush, because it's very thick and you're less likely to get streaks and that sort of thing on your face. But if you do choose to use a beauty blender, I've got my Real Techniques beauty sponge. You can kind of pat it on just to kind of smooth it out, make sure that there are no streaks, get rid of any excess product if you do have any excess product. It really gave a very nice natural soft matte finish to the face, and for that reason I will definitely give this probably a 9 out of 10. It is transferable. It's not as transferable as a lot of other brands. For example, if I was to touch my face softly, there would be nothing on my hands, but if I was to rub it, obviously it would come off. So in that respect, it definitely lasts a really long time on the face. A little bit goes a really long way, so you will not need to kind of put as much as you normally would with other foundations. So here you can see one full layer all over my face. You can see that it is a little bit golden for me, not necessarily dark, if that makes sense. So what's going to happen is, as I start to tan, which I am now, and because I'm going abroad soon to a hot country, this will match me perfectly. Like I said, if you're a MAC MC42, this will work perfectly well for you. Only one layer is needed. You can see my beauty spot there, just to give you an example of how full coverage this is. It generally tends to even everything out quite nicely as well, and it looks really nice. I haven't got any streaks at the moment, but that's because I've used a brush like this Morphe Deluxe Buffing Brush. This is how the foundation looks on my skin. Looks really nice and even, and I think that this is a lovely foundation. Now let's move on to the concealer. So the concealer I bought was in the shade called 18. The tube is very similar to the Tarte Shape Tape, and then you've also got a fat doe foot applicator, again like the Tarte Shape Tape, so very similar. And altogether you get in here 10 ml, which is a pretty decent amount. And the concealer comes altogether in 24 shades, which I think is really good. And this one is described as being for medium to tan skin with golden olive undertones. I personally have to say that this is the perfect shade for somebody like me to have nice brightening effect under the eyes, but without it being too stark and too overboard. It blends in very nicely with the foundation, and because of the fact that I do look a little bit jaundiced right now, you will see that once I apply this, blend it out, it really works nicely with the foundation. And then once I apply the powder on top afterwards, it will settle it all and look really, really nice. So let me just read to you what their claims are of this concealer, which by the way costs $14. It doesn't say much other than our Magic Creamy Radiant Concealer smoothens and cancels out dark circles, blemishes and skin imperfections. So they're not really saying that much, to be honest. I mean, this is definitely a full coverage concealer. Again, formulated for all skin types and tones. FYI, I've got combination skin, so I get oily on my T-zones and I can feel sweat building on my face because I haven't set this yet, and as I've said, I'm sitting in a room where it is 35 degrees and I am baking and my t-shirt is sticking to my back. That's how hot it is. Now I would say that this concealer is very good at covering everything. Their claims that they have made are 100% correct. It definitely cancels out dark circles, blemishes, skin imperfections. It is definitely full coverage. However, under the eyes and on everywhere else on my face, it moves and it creases. And I hate that about this. Because of that reason, it's going to get a 5 out of 10. And I feel really, really like, oh my God, do I have to give it a 5? Yes. I put this on, let's say 9 o'clock in the morning. By 11 o'clock, creased on my nose where I apply it. It has moved and I'm just like, what the hell? On my chin, on my forehead, it has moved, it has separated, and it actually really does interfere with how the foundation then works, where the edges of the concealer and the foundation meet. The foundation is excellent. The concealer really, really lets it down. And even then, I have been using it with the Magic powder and it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. So unfortunately, I don't think that this is very good. I mean, the doe foot applicator itself is really good. You know, you get a decent amount of product. It's creamy to apply. It's not too thick, and it may be because it's not thick enough. And that's the reason why it tends to crease very, very quickly. It does blend out really nicely. It's got a nice smooth texture, but unfortunately, it just does not perform the way that I need it to perform. Okay, here is the concealer all done. Here you can see it works really nicely to brighten my under eye area and to highlight the high points of my face. And it also helps with the fact that my foundation is a little bit deeper for my skin tone. Now, before I do anything and set it, let me just get on with the powders review, because I obviously need to set the rest of my face. And this is starting to crease already under my eyes. The powder costs $12 altogether, and the shade that I bought was in Sahara. Altogether there are 5 shades, and I believe that this is the one up from the lightest one, which is fine by me. It's actually a pretty decent sort of banana type of shade. It's got a normal sifter in there, and the product comes out and then sits in there, which I have no issue with whatsoever. I actually quite like and prefer these kind of packaging for choking setting powders. I'm quite happy with the way that this powder is and how it's displayed. Now it says on here, introducing our finely milled setting powder used to blur out imperfections, brighter under eye and hold makeup in place. 100%, I give this powder a good 9 out of 10. It does exactly what it says on the box. It brightens my under eye area, holds my makeup in place all day. I have been using this to set the Juvia's Place foundation, which is what I'm going to do today. It has kept everything looking matte. It has kept it all in place. It did not crease. It did not budge. It did not do anything. It did not accentuate any lines. The only place where it had an issue was with my under eye area, and that I believe is not the fault of the powder, but that is the fault definitely of the concealer. Because even now, I can see right now my concealer has properly creased, like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have to fix that in a minute. This one, just to let you guys know, Sahara, it says it's formulated for light to medium skin tone, so I sit within obviously medium. Sorry, I'm just like fixing up my under eyes before I put my powder on. But overall, I think that it's a really nice finely milled powder. It's not too finely milled, I would say. It's not like, for example, Huda Beauty's Easy Bake powder, which is very finely milled. This one is slightly thicker, however it does just as good a job. So I'm just leaving it on for the obligatory couple of seconds, but considering it's so hot in here, I'm leaving it on for a little bit longer. I can actually feel the powder sucking the moisture out of my face because there's so much moisture on my face. And then I'm just going to now set the rest of my face, because you can see these areas are matte, but the rest of my face is still a little bit shiny because I'm hot, I'm sweaty, my temperature is up. I need to actually set the foundation, so I'm going to use this Sigma large powder brush. So there we go. I know you could see I was going in with a bit of a heavier hand, but that's fine because this actually just helps me get the right kind of shade. And also because it is so hot, putting on a little bit more than normal is actually going to keep this matte for a lot longer and keep everything in place for a lot longer. See, now you can see I don't look as dark as I did before. Not even dark, because I don't find it dark for me. I just find it a bit too golden, a little bit too yellow for me. But this is how I've managed to make it work. So let me just run through with you now. It feels nice and soft. I do feel slightly tacky, but that's just, again, because I'm in such a hot room. But it looks beautiful. I look flawless. It looks lovely and natural. Let me just look under my eyes. Under eyes has already started to crease despite the fact that it has been set. So again, like I said, the concealer is not great. Let me just finish off the rest of my makeup now, just so that you guys can see what it looks like once it's all complete and put together, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. The rest of my face is done. For reference, on my lips, I'm wearing this new from Sleek Makeup Lip Dose Soft Matte LipClick, and this is in the shade Disruptive. I like it. First time I'm using it. Lovely. So this is what it all looks like. It looks lovely. It looks flawless, frankly. What else can I say? It looks beautiful. The foundation is lovely. Now you can see once I've applied the powder, it's slightly lightened the foundation for me, so that it's made it a lot more wearable. The darker I get, the less of the powder, or I won't have to apply it as heavily as I have done. It still looks really nice and natural. It feels soft. I am starting to get really shiny though, or I can feel like the sweat trying to get through. So I'm gonna have to get out of this room before it just starts to melt off my face. Now when I look underneath my eyes, unfortunately it's patchy. I think I'm gonna zoom in up close so you can see it is patchy under the eyes, and it's also just about started to crease, and it's also started to move. So I definitely don't think that this is worth the money. I would definitely recommend the foundation, which I think is excellent. The powder as well is very, very good. It keeps everything very matte. One thing I do have to say about this powder is though it's quite a thick powder despite it being finely milled. When I did my tidied up my contour, which I didn't show you guys, when I when I cut it like that, it leaves a very obvious and very strong line there, which I then have to use my brush to blend out. So this is a very full-on kind of powder. So for those of you that have got oily skin in particular, you will really like this because it really sticks to the face, and I like that about this. So that's it for my review of the Juvia's Place foundation, concealer and powder. Let me know what your thoughts are about these products. Are you planning on getting them? Have you tried them, or is Juvia's Place just cancelled for you guys? I think I've got lipstick on my teeth, so sorry about that. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.